Okay, I actually gave you a minute to be able to read today's brain graphics. We're going to do some emotional regulation, deep breaths, inhale and exhale, inhale and exhale 3 times. I'm going to count you in descending order, and we'll breathe and get this neural party started. 3, 2, 1. And I'm coming back in frame. All right, y'all hear all that going on outside at 5:30 in the morning? They act like it's a speed race on this highway near my home. I am Dr. Good morning, Lola. I am. Is my hair crooked? Here we go. It's the phone. Got it. I am Dr. Donna Louise Thomas-Rodgers, daughter of Leslie Darnell Thomas, granddaughter of Arthur Jethro Evelyn II, and great granddaughter of Levi Thomas. Welcome to your morning mental workout today. Good morning, Envy, for the second time. Today is What If Wednesday. What If Wednesday? We are going to do some wiring and some firing and wiring. We are using Hebb's Law today. But before we get started, make sure, as this is your morning mental workout, you have some water, some Vasa, some liquid gold, baby, that H2O, because you are working out your brain. Your brain is 75% water, and it needs to be hydrated. Okay, so what if Wednesday? Dr. Donna quote to get this neural party started is, what if you learned a lot today? What if you learned a lot today? So I have a stack of different, if you saw my desk, you'd be like, oh my God. So this stack of Post-its, multicolored, is all brain things that I have jotted down and said, I need to do a lot about that. I need to do a lot about that. I need to do a lot about that. So again, I ain't never running out of content. That's just for the lives. There's all kind of stuff on my desk. I have an L-shaped desk, and it just looks like a bunch of Post-its went, and it's all these ideas. It's the only thing in the house that is not completely organized. It is organized chaos, because that's how I learn best. So in that pile yesterday was what we call a dentate gyrus. And this is for you, Lola, because if you can, you're going to want to write it down. It's DENTATE gyrus, GYRUS. Now, we know that you have to go to the hippocampus bank of neurons every day to make daily withdrawals. The only way you get new neurons is that's where the learning happens in the adult brain, but it in particular happens in the dentate gyrus. So, in order for us to wire today, get some new neurons, we need to understand that. And so, here is what happens. In the dentate gyrus is located in the hippocampus. I have my other shirt on. It's in the temporal lobe in the limbic system. And so, why this matters is because new neurons help pattern separation, telling similar experiences apart. It's for memory formation and flexible learning. And yes, that's correct, but it's separate. It's two separate words, Envy. So it's dentate gyrus, two separate words, and it's in the hippocampus, located in the limbic system, located in the temporal lobe in the brain. And that's where the adult learning happens. So when I say you're actually going to the teller, you're going to see dentate. Is who you're going to see. And what it influences is your lifestyle and environment, and it can boost or block this process. My pleasure. So here's the thing. So how do you get your hippocampus to make new brain cells? Lola, I'm glad you asked. So here's what happens. Think of your hippocampus like a garden in your brain. New brain cells, the neurons, are plants, and you need the right care to make them grow. So in order for you to make these neurons grow, because they could fire and wire, connect, and then don't create a synaptic connection. They could fire, not wire, don't create a synaptic connections, fire, wire, create a synaptic connections, and then you could lose the connection within days. So how do you get them to fire, wire, connect, and create a neural pathway that is sustainable? That's what we're working on today for Wire Wednesday. So you move your body. So you're going to water your garden. How you do that is running, walking, dancing, sports. Exercise is the best way to water your brain and grow new brain cells. And we know that that is also when you do the brain-derived neurotrophic factor, the BDNF is associated with exercise. Next, learn new stuff. So sunshine is the new stuff. Trying new things, puzzles, languages, learning, reading, it all shines sunlight on your brain's garden so the new cells stay alive and strong. Sleep, that's nighttime repair. So your brain plants and grows and connects while you're asleep. So no sleep equal weak plants. So anytime, good day, mate. How are you, Tracy? See, y'all didn't know I could do an Australian accent. Okay, New Zealand. No. Anyway, all right. So when you get sleep, you're actually repairing your brain. Now, Envy, myself, and Lorenzo couldn't sleep. And so we all ended up on TikTok. Now, they ended up on screen time watching, but I did a TikTok live. So they ended up doing something productive. But if you can't sleep, get up and do something that your brain is going to benefit from. Next is eat brain foods. So fertilizer, you're going to need that for your brain. So fish, nuts, blueberries, and green tea are like plant food for your neurons. Remember, Lola, people told you to do that without the neuron work, but you got to do that too. Too much junk food is like pouring soda on the garden. It's going to kill the growth. And then chill out. So you got to protect the garden. Stress is like weeds. So if you're always stressed, the weeds take over. That means the amygdala is going to take over, hijack everything. Life is going to be no bueno. So relaxing, hanging out with accountable people, and meditating keeps your brain garden healthy. So in short, you move, you learn, you sleep, you eat smart, and relax. More new brain cells will be available for you. So not only do you only get to receive these new neurons when you are challenging yourself, if you don't learn, sleep, eat, and relax, you are not going to keep those neural pathways that you created sustainable. So if you ever had a neural pathway that was working and going great, and then you meet some unaccountable people, and next thing you know, that neural pathway is gone. You used to get up every day, you used to exercise, you was eating healthy. Now you're watching whole football season, you done gained 35 pounds, you're drinking beer, you got a beer belly, and you're trying to figure out how did this happen? And it's because you met up with some comfort people. Y'all got y'all little comfort cocoons, sat in y'all comfort zones, and watched a bunch of comfortable stuff on the screen. And that neural pathway that was so strong didn't get what it needed. So it didn't get sunlight. You didn't move, you didn't eat smart, you didn't rest, you didn't relax. And that is why you are now looking at pictures from 8 months ago saying, damn, I remember when I had muscles, and now I don't have any. Now you know what happened is that you came in contact with people who were not using their dentate gyrus, and they only wanted to seek immediate gratification. Amygdala, 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 comfort, 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 comfort. And that is the reason why you haven't learned anything in quite some time. So what questions do you have about the dentate gyrus? That is where the learning, the new neurons are coming from in order for you to get them. And then in order for them to be sustainable, those are the things that you need to do. So move your body, learn some new stuff. Good morning, Regina. Sleep, eat the right foods, and chill out. And today's brain bit as well, not brain bit, today's Really the Brain and today's PA were both for discomfort. Because I tell you, when you say no screen time after you've been in front of a screen for 51 years, Amy and Lala get vicious. You know what I'm saying? They get vicious. It is dentate, dentate, gyrus, gyrus. So dentate gyrus, gyrus. Yes, so that is where the neurons are coming from for the adult brain. It is in the hippocampus. And you can learn in one other area of the brain, but that's from visual, and that's only what it's for. So the actual learning and creating the neuroplasticity that everyone tells you is possible. Oh, your brain is plastic. You learn how to do anything. Your brain is plastic. Your brain like, whoa, 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 whoa. You can't just learn everything. I ain't about to just be giving you neurons for you to do dumb shit. You start doing dumb shit, that came from the amygdala. Anytime you're doing something that is against inhibition control in the prefrontal cortex, your amygdala told you to do that. Yeah, I'm about to learn how to, I'm about to be out here scamming, and the prefrontal cortex like, I ain't got shit to do with that. I ain't told you to do none of that. That is you and Lala and Amy. Y'all wouldn't go pull that highest. Y'all went over there and did some dumb shit. That was not me. Envy said, I made a realization when I got to the point I could do pull-ups easy. I wasn't watering by learning something new. I got bored of pull-ups and have lost the ability now. Yep. I remember when you were working on that. So that's what happened. Because you didn't create this whole, and that's what I was saying on the TikTok live. So I'm the only person on the face of the planet Earth teaching you how the brain functions and how to use it to become your best. It's a whole brain experience. Whole brain experience. Envy said, noticing a big reason why my garden stops flowering is stop watering it at a certain point. And Envy, remember when you were in challenges, that was between day 16 and 19 for you. So anytime you're doing something new, you got to get to that 21st point. So the synaptic connection starts, that neural pathway is formed by day 8. And then the rest of those days until you get to day 21 are cementing and making sure that it's strong. But for you, your weak point is day 16 to 19. That's when things start falling apart. And then if you just double that every time you get to the second iteration of day 16 to 19, third iteration over the course of 90 days to 180 days, if you look, that's where the drop off is for you, particularly for you. Regina said everything is healthy and good for you in terms of making new neurons. Yes, that is what happens. So when you are doing everything healthily for your brain, then you have a different experience. If you're trying to Envy's point, noted, yes. So to Envy's point, doing pull-ups and then you don't do the rest of it, then you can't keep strengthening that and you get bored and then you stop. And then you stop getting neurons. And then you get in this nice little basal ganglia doom loop. And then you find yourself on Envy. Is it okay if I share your results for your scrolling time with the rest of the group? And so we're going to be doing What If Wednesday. Okay, so Envy was around last year, and Envy decided to not continue to be personally accountable. So Envy received a closeout survey. So Envy saw me on live the other day thanks to Kevin. So Envy, you can thank Kevin for me being live the other day, because I would not have been live. And Kevin put me out there on that track. Now I'm out here begging for hearts and stuff. That's why I was live. So then Envy said, I want to come back. Can I come back? And I thought about it, and I looked at the certificates, and the PA challenge and pre-training for Instagram and all that wasn't there. And so I said, yes, here under these conditions, start at this level. I need to know that this process is going to work all the way through. So we were on a live the second day with just Envy and I, and we ran the numbers. And the amount of time, Envy spends 28 hours a week on, 28 hours a week on social media. And when we ran the numbers, 2 months out of Envy's life every year is spent on social media. When you do that 28 days, because that's a day and 4 hours per week, 52 weeks in a year, you add those 4 hours up, you get to 60 something days. So 2 months a year just scrolling through social media. That was a very eye-opening moment for Envy. Envy was just like, and then Clutch, the real leader, was like, oh, you 2 months. I'm spending 2 months a year on social media, just scrolling on social media for 2 months out of a 12-month year. So it was very eye-opening. Hence, yes, shocked. Because you're like, oh, it's just a couple hours. Oh, it's just days. Wait, hold up. It's months. I'm literally spending 2 months of my life just scrolling through social media. Just scrolling. Seems random. And now you said, I ain't got time. You don't have the neural pathways. Think about that. 2 months a year, you're not watering your brain garden, Envy. How can anything grow? How can it grow if it's getting nothing? And what you're consuming, the toxicity and the dopaminergicness of all of that, the negative, the manufactured dopamine that's taking place as you're scrolling, and then it's time for you to go problem solve, and you can't. And Amy and Lala, like, you on your own. We already got our, good morning, Sean. We already got our dopamine boost. So yes, 2 months a year on social media. All right. So what if questions are what we're going to be doing today. I have a what if playlist on the YouTube channel. And I always chat and ask and make sure that we got some neurological foundation, some neuroscience to what we're doing. So here we are. Good. What if questions? So what regions of the brain are you using for the what if questions? Now, yesterday I did something interesting in chat. I asked chat my normal questions and got a very highbrow level answer. So then I said, simplify the answer as if I was talking to a 15-year-old. And so I'm going to give you all the 15-year-old answer for the sake of time, but to also see that you can customize your information to talk to any audience. So how your brain answers a what if question. And this is the answer if I was talking to a teen. Number one is the planner turns on. So the PFC is the front of your brain. So you ask a what if question, and this is the process. This is the part that helps you imagine and organize ideas. It's like your brain's what could happen calculator. So first thing I say, what if? PFC says, what if? What could happen? And then it turns into a what if, what could happen calculator. Number two, the memory machine kicks in. We know that that's the hippocampus. And so it pulls out past experiences and mixes them together to build new possibilities, like editing clips from old movies to make a brand new one. So the hippocampus, you start saying, what if? The hippocampus pulls out that, goes to that section in the brain, pulls it out, and starts putting together clips to say, what if? And next is the imagination network. That is your default mode network. And this lets you daydream about the future or other realities, basically your mental time travel tool. So in this instance, when you say what if, you want your default mode network to actually start daydreaming on purpose because you are pondering. What if? Okay, number 4 is feelings join in. Can't do anything without the damn amygdala showing up. The amygdala and the insula join in. And these are your brain adds emotions. So the what if could feel scary, exciting, hopeful, energetic, dismayed. Ooh, what if? Oh my God, what if? What if I go live and everybody start talking about me? What if I go live and there ain't nobody on it? What if I go live and I'm on here for a whole hour talking to myself and I done prepared this lesson? Ooh, what if? Thank you, Amy, Lala, and the insula. Number 5 is the editor's check-in. So the anterior cingulate cortex and the prefrontal cortex check in. Logic and reason, right? So this part makes sure that the idea makes sense and throws out the ones that don't make sense. So they're going to the ACC, we know, is the referee. The prefrontal cortex is checking and validating. And then finally, number 6 is the decision zone. And this is where the basal ganglia, we know that's where the memory is, and the prefrontal cortex come together. So finally, your brain compares the imagined outcomes to your goals and helps you decide if it's worth doing or just saying or staying at a what if. And so basically asking what if is your brain's way of running a mental simulation game. It mixes memories plus imaginations plus logic plus feelings to test out a future that hasn't happened yet. So I'm going to walk y'all through. So I challenge Kevin to go live. I'm told by my high power, you need to go live and you need to participate in this, what is it called? This new chapter, season 1 on TikTok. And so I said, what if I don't do it? That didn't go well. Big G did not like I didn't like the response from Big G. So I said, okay. Hold on. All right. So what if I do it? What if I fail? What if I look like a hypocrite? What if I get out here and I don't finish the challenge? What if I fail the challenge? So I went through all these different scenarios, and within 15 minutes, Kevin received a message that I told him I was on my way to going live because he got me out here on this track asking for these doggone hearts and likes, subscribes, and diamonds and shares and everything else. Things 3 weeks ago, I said I wasn't even going to do this. But to Kevin's point yesterday, as he was on the live that I was doing to get some of these check marks, as I said, I just looked at other people doing it and I said, oh, I would never do that. Just like I looked at people throwing up rainbow lenses way back in 2015 on Snapchat. But then the real leader in me says, how can I, Dr. Donna Thomas-Rodgers, do this? And how can I do it to the best of my ability? Because there are many things that I said I would never do. And I did it and I excelled at it, award-winning, mastered it and everything else. And now when you all say you're getting ready to do something, I say, oh, I already did that. Here's the strategy for that. Here's the strategy for that. And so while I don't believe that I need 10 million followers to do anything, I have enough of a following to tell you this is how you get to this point. And then this is how you can scale that more and more and more and more. So what if actually is a beautiful thing, because you're just saying what if. You have these different regions of the brain coming together so that you can just play it out and see if it's something that you want to do. Okay, so Envy said, wow, this process happens so fast. It's cool hearing all the parts involved. And then Regina said, catch me up. Both you and Kevin are live now. Okay, so I talked about it briefly, Regina, yesterday. So I went live yesterday. Behind the scenes, Kevin thought Kevin was the only person getting pushed. So he keep getting messages and TikTok. Where your post at? Where your video at? Where you did? You need to do this. Here goes some stuff on investment. And he keeps like, oh, she's sending me more stuff. Stop. So he thought he was the only one. He didn't know that he was one of many. And everybody was getting messages from me all over everywhere. It's like, no, she's like, how you got time to be sending these messages and building this furniture and live and reading all that? We're like, do you have 28 hours in a day? You responding and everything. What are you doing? Everybody want me to go back to screen time so I can stop sending y'all messages. So anyway, Kevin has been experiencing what he believes is message overload. He thought it was just him. He found out the other day, everybody, Lorenzo, Envy's like, oh my God. And now, and Sean and chimed in. Nola's like, whoo, Regina keeps getting challenged every time she turned her real leader resources in. She got 6 paragraphs for me to read and think. And everybody's just like, ah. And I'm like, no, I'm doing this on purpose. He was military drafted into her like he was not. And we look like 2 old folks trying to get him to turn his camera on. Both of us sound 52 yesterday. Anyway, I was on my live with Nola. We were testing it out again because I have to figure out how to get these. I got 60 challenges to do by November 23rd. I'm on 60 stages. And every week they have a list of things that you got to do. And you got to hit all these metrics. And I never did this. Been on TikTok since 2019. So I'm doing it, trying to figure it out, trying to stay true to who I am, even after I said I wasn't. But I told Kevin to start doing this. I sent him a strategy. I sent him ChatGPT links, and y'all ain't the only ones getting ChatGPT links. I send it to everybody. Everybody gets their level of information. And so I'm sitting here like, go live, go live. And then I sit at my desk and then I hear, yeah, you going to go live too. And you going to do something hard. You going to go on TikTok. And then you going to finish a TikTok challenge. No, I ain't. I don't ask for hearts and likes and subscribes. I am Dr. Donna. And I'm out there yesterday on my live at the end. And I'm about to get off because I've met my 20-minute, 30-minute mark, whatever, to get to from stage 4, closer from stage 4 to stage 5. And here comes Kevin. Don't let Regina. Regina, as a fellow teacher, you got to be on my side. You got to be on my side. You got to be on my side, okay? Yesterday, you did it with the pop quiz. You retired, though. Okay, fine. Got it. I'm out here by myself. Anyway, we'll dismiss what Regina said. Keep it moving. So Kevin comes on, and I said, forget it. I'm going to invite Kevin to go live. Kevin can't turn his camera on, so he had to go back out, come back in. He finally gets on and goes live, and I explained to him. So Kevin is going live tomorrow. Kevin, you can go ahead and drop in what time you're going to be live, so we will be there cheering you on because we're cheerleaders. Anyway, tell us what time you're going to be live. Regina would like to support you. So Kevin and I and Nola had dialogue about what topic he should actually start covering and gave him some suggestions. He's bumping some things out because he had some health challenges in June, and now he wants to say he was chasing money and he should have been balancing it. He heard the whispers and didn't take care of himself and found himself in a precarious situation, and now he's on a different health path. He got his attention. His higher power is God. So God got his attention real quick, said it was his turn, but not his time. And so now Kevin needs to share his information with the rest of the world. So he is going to start that tomorrow as soon as he tells us what time it is. So Kevin, just like Nola was a guest on my live on Monday, Kevin was a guest on my live yesterday. Now, I said people can't be a guest on my live until you prove it yourself. And God corrected me on that and said people need to be a guest because y'all need to see what other people are doing. So that's why Kevin said yesterday in the last 72 hours, he's seen so much. Because if you just see me, I'm too far away from it where you are in your personal accountability and neural pathway journey. You need to see it from each other. So that's why the subscription is there on Instagram for y'all to start interacting with each other in the broadcast channel. And then TikTok, as I told Regina, is going to be for fun, which is why I went live this morning before I went on this live. So this is already my second live. And oh, by the way, Nola had to remind me yesterday that I had 5 lives in 24 hours. And then last night I told her, but you was on 4 of them. And she was like, man, and I co-hosted another one. So it's live-a-palooza over here. So the point is, Kevin was on the live. It was his opportunity to filter out some information. And it's empowering for everyone. Okay, great. It don't feel empowering because remember, I'm no screen time. So anything that I was doing, my little comfort that I did have is now completely gone. And so it's just me and the Tibetan monks listening to flutes, trying to wusa. So that's what's happening for me in my downtime because I'm becoming even more self-actualized. So the point is, there is this community that is growing. I have to let go. And as I told Kevin yesterday, I am now turning a previous no into a current yes, because I never went live and used all of the challenges. Yes, 5 lives in 24 hours. I did a live. This is my second live already today, and it ain't but 5:55 for me. So I'm already on live number 2 today. Amazing what happens when you have no screen time. And I'm on a different mission. So now I have 2 different purposes for being live, and it's to expand the group of people because I'm a micro influencer on YouTube, X in theory, Instagram, and Snapchat. So I have thousands of people who are following me, and I need to be available with this new information that I've discovered in the last 10 months. So the point is, we told Kevin, Kevin, are you there? What time is your live tomorrow, Kevin? Is your chat broken? So Kevin needs to go live. That was some sweet at Kevin. You can do it. Indeed, empowering Dr. Donna. Yes. So yes. So now Kevin is able to do it, and if he tells us what time it is, you can be there for him if it fits into your schedule, so that he can go do this next mission, this next challenge for him. So the point is, that's how Kevin ended up on my live. So what the moral of the story is, I always say you can turn a previous no into a current yes, just like you can turn a previous no into a previous yes into a current no. So I have said I was not going to do Snapchat because it was stupid. I've been on Snapchat since 2015. I have a Snapchat playlist. I use Snapchat lenses all the time. I said I wasn't using Jiffies because that shit was dumb. My Jiffy page just hit 18 billion views. Okay. So we need an answer by the end of the live, Kevin, because that's will be, or you could tell us in the morning if you're gonna do it in the afternoon tomorrow. Either way, I said Jiffy was stupid. I got 18 billion views in Jiffy. That was the other week. I wasn't really feeling YouTube. I got 12,000 YouTube videos. Instagram, I'm about to hit 16,000 Instagram posts between this week and next week because I stopped posting so much. So my point is that you can say no, and then you can say yes, and then you can exceed. You can exceed and succeed, and then become your best at that thing. So I am out here doing this challenge because I will come across a student in the future who will want to do the challenge, and I want them to be able to do it the right way instead of the wrong way. So that's the other reason why I go off and determine how these things can become best. So that's what's happening. So I am live on TikTok. I played a game. 2 people, Nia and Jay, came to my aid on Monday, and they helped me beat somebody. So I won at a game. I didn't even know how the game was played, but they both helped me. I thank them gratefully because I didn't understand what was happening. I am going to use the game to my advantage now, and the team is going to be called Brain versus Brawn. And so we're going to do a neurological exercise first because that's the fun component, and then we're going to start battling people like they used to battle people breakdancing back in the 80s. So we're going to go. You created the challenge for yourself. Yes. No, TikTok had it. TikTok is always offering me challenges. People are always sending me stuff, asking me to say, put our clothes on based upon your following. I'm always getting notifications to do stuff. And my answer is always no behind the scenes. So because I have over 10,000 followers on TikTok, they will say, this is this month's challenge. This is this quarter's challenge. And so I was guided by my higher power to go finally say yes to a challenge. In the 5 years I've been on TikTok, I've never done, but in the last 3 years when I actually could do the challenges, because how many followers are on TikTok. So it's their challenge. So that's the part that I don't like, is because I don't even know what the challenge is until Monday. And then so for example, this week I have to, nope, that's not the card. Where's the other card? Dang it. So last week, here's the challenge because I can't find the other card. So I had to go use the About Me, live for 10 minutes, live shared by 3 viewers, live on 2 separate days, roses sent once, 2 new followers during the live, and go live at least once and have no violations for the week. So every week, they literally give you, why can't I find the one for today? Okay, maybe it's here. Okay, this is what it is. So this week's challenge is this. Go live on Tuesday. I did. It didn't update, but I did. I met the challenge anyway because of the time. Go live for 120 minutes this week. Complete a live match for 25 minutes. Collect 100 diamonds. 6 different gifts sent in your live. Be in a multi-guest live with 6 followers for 4 times. Finger heart 10 times in your match. And then go live for at least once and have no violations for the week. So the reason why this is so hard is because, number one, I don't know what it is, and I won't know until the beginning of the week. Number two, it requires people on TikTok to participate in this thing. And then I have to go and find somebody that actually battle against the game. So completely 1000% totally out of my comfort zone. Talk about discomfort at the highest level. And it's 60 stages. So it started on September 1st. It ends on November 23rd, and it's 60 different stages. So I started, I believe, on Sunday, and now I'm at stage 5. And so I got a strategy that I'm working. I'm not going to say what it is because I want to make sure that it works correctly. So yeah, so this is on fleek. But Nola explained to me, because I was saying mine is harder, but she explained to me the challenges that I give you all are just as hard because you've never done them before. So challenge is challenge, fear is fear. Doesn't matter what it is. So yeah, so in the midst of me doing everything else, there you go. Bada boom, bada bing. And we just started the Instagram challenge, the Instagram lives with Nola on a duo, basically on Instagram. So a lot going on. So what I did discover with Nola is it's not so much that I'm not saying I understand your challenge is smaller than mine. What I don't appreciate is the excuses that come with why you can't do it. And I'm over here basically like, excuse me, what? You said you can't do what? Like people used to tell me they can't post every day on social media. I'm like, I post 105 times every day on social media. You got one post on one account. What the hell is you talking about? Get that shit done. So it's the excuses. So the fear shows up and people start making excuses. And I'm over here like, I got to do 60 stages with this weekly thing that I have no idea what it is. I have no background in TikTok challenges whatsoever. Didn't know what to do. I'm asking people. Nia was like, go look for the circles. Can you find the 2 circles? Now you got to invite somebody. And Jay was like, sometimes you just win. Sometimes you win money. He was trying to explain it to me while the game was going on. We ended up beating the guy. So that was good. But I don't have no background. Just like I didn't have no background in Jiffy. Just like I didn't have no background in social media. But I do have a background in being a bad mofo. So what Nola said was, when you figure this out, whoever number 1 is better watch out. Because I'm coming for them. Y'all know when I got to the number 1 in the Diamond League, that's the highest league for Regina and Lola. The highest league in Duolingo is the Diamond League, and I finished first. And I beat that other person by 9,000 and some change XP. That French lady ain't know what hit her. She woke up on Wednesday and thought she was winning. She woke up on Sunday and didn't know what hit her. I baited her. And she was like, yeah, I got her. By Sunday, I killed it. I whooped her ass so bad, I know she was crying. 9,000. She woke up like, time-wise, was no way mathematically she was going to be able to catch me. So, yeah, once I figure this out, whoever the top person is in the TikTok challenges, is on and popping. I'm taking you down. I don't even know who you are, but I'm coming for you. I'm calling you out soon as I figure it out. If I feel like it's value added, they are not safe under no circumstances because I already got my strategy brewing. But when I figure it out, for real, it's over. It's definitely over. So that's the what if scenario. What we're getting ready to do is do a couple what if questions. So what questions do you have for me? So, and the thing that I told Kevin is I walk the walk. I'm not about to tell you to go do something difficult and then I'm going to be sitting in my comfort cocoon like, go ahead and do it. Because in 1972, I did my challenge. I challenged myself. No, I'm challenging myself even more. So no screen time, Tibetan music, this challenge, still doing the book challenge, doing lives on 3 different platforms, YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram right now. Still working on how to get my engagement up on X. Yeah. Behind the scenes, still working with Nola and still helping y'all with all y'all challenges. So yeah, that's that part. When I say I'm the baddest mofo walking the face of the planet Earth, I am. I am. Yes, I definitely am. So, okay. What questions do you have before we get to the what ifs? It's kind of cool that you, Nola, and Kevin are doing this at the same time. Yes. Okay. This is the first time in my life I have company with people doing challenges too, though. Most of the time, people are like, yeah, you good. Let us know how that works out. And then that's it. Okay. So, Kevin, you have people that will be here on your live supporting you for your first live endeavor. You can go on here. I know your heart is like, boom, 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 boom. But it's a good one now. It's working. So it definitely is some good beats. Flowing. Blood is flowing and getting to every area of your arteries and to your brain and everything. You got this. So now that we know how much more challenging, and I did it yesterday. I forgot we were in the car doing something and I cussed myself out in the car. And Nola says, see, that's what I'm talking about. That's that part right there. And nobody don't see. I forgot what I was yelling at myself for, but I sure did give myself a good talking to. whatever it was. It was like I was going in the wrong direction, and I checked myself and brought myself back. You too will be able to cuss yourself out and hold yourself personally accountable and ensure that you keep your bad mofo status. All right, so here's what we're going to do. Now that you understand the what if process, I walked you through one of my recent what if scenarios. Here is what you're going to do. I'm going to read a question, and then you're going to ponder it, and then you're going to answer it. So you will get practice in going through the what if scenarios and being able to use all of those brain regions that I mentioned. So the first question on the table is this. I'm going to give it to you. You think about it, and then you type in your answer. Okay? What if I failed at blank? What if I failed at blank? And thank you, Sean. So dot, 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 while you're thinking, the brain or thinking emoji. And the brain regions that you're using, again, are your prefrontal cortex, your hippocampus, your default mode network, your amygdala, your insula, your ACC, and your basal ganglia. Creating my personal legend. All right. Starting a business. And now that Regina has mentioned it publicly, I can now do it because it is now public record. So what Regina is working on in her retirement years is starting a business. And so she, in her Real Leader Resources every day, has to watch one of the Business 101 videos. And Nola said, making a global project. What if I failed at TikTok challenges? What if I failed at getting 6 billion adults to learn how to use their brain and function properly? I said impact. Did I not say that? Making a global impact. I'm sorry. Envy says staying in touch with art and balance. And Sean said completing the networking for my business. Okay. Now, how did that feel typing that publicly? You said it in your head. You used all those brain regions. This one little piece of hair, I have combed it, brushed it, and noticed that it is bothering my face. So how did you feel typing that? Typing it made me feel as though I entered into a challenge. That's Kevin. Got it? And the reason why you're assessing the feelings is because remember, the amygdala and the insula are working to make you feel fearful, excited, like that's dangerous, no, hesitant, and everything else. So Sean said, I feel I need to get better at that point. It felt good. I felt good to say it to someone else. Sean, I don't know if you are in Toastmasters, but one thing that I recommend, I started a Toastmasters club here at the Urban Chamber. It was for business professionals and entrepreneurs, is to get into Toastmasters because it is a communication and leadership organization, and it will help you refine and define all those things that you need for being in business, because you said networking, so that requires communication. It requires doing your elevator pitch if y'all are still doing those. And it just helps you filter out things because you do speeches based upon certain topics, and so you can pick those topics and you will be in a safe space to filter out those ideas. So Toastmasters.org, you go to their website, you can visit clubs. Yep, Toastmasters.org is the website. So Envy said, I feel like acknowledging it is a step towards preventing it. When I thought it first, I felt it in my stomach. Right. And that was your insula and your amygdala helping you feel that. Regina said, scary and afraid because right now my ideas are in the infancy. not as focused as I would like them to be in terms of taking action in this direction. And you got it right. So what happens is, thank you everybody. So what happens is you start saying what if, and Nola said calm. That's awesome. That's definitely awesome for you, especially in your brain, Nola. That's amazing. So what happens is you start saying what if, and the left and right amygdala like, hold up, you about to start a business. Your credit score is 3. How you about to stay? Ain't nobody about to give you no business credit. You can't, no. You making late payments every other month. You can't start no business. You can't run your personal life yet. What you doing over there? No, you too old. Wait a minute. You trying to have a business and what? Ain't nobody gonna buy no product from you because you old, because you this gender. You in part of the LBGTQ. So it shows up and you can't even what if. It's already telling you it's not possible. It's not. And it's reminded of the hippocampus. Well, you tried to sell Tupperware back in 2002. That didn't go well for you. So now you about to try to sell something again. No, that ain't gonna work. That ain't gonna work at all. So you just say it. It's just words. You just say it. What if? And Susan Jeffers has the book, Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. So feel the fear. I was afraid. That's why I went on ahead and went live. That's why I held myself accountable and told Kevin, I'm getting ready to go live. I told you to do it. I got to do it. So you can see it. I'm walking the walk. And how many times I done said words wrong until I got it right. Failure is not an option. That's one of the 74 principles of real leadership. And why aren't you going to fail? Because you just going to use your dentate gyrus and go to the hippocampus bank of neurons and get you some neurons and make a withdrawal and create the neural pathway. The only reason why you can't do it is because you don't have the neural pathway for it yet. That's it. So you just got to learn how to get it done and start doing it over and over and over again to make sure that neural pathway is strong. You regulate your doggone emotions, calm Amy and Lala down. Can makes the impossible possible, because that's one of the 74 principles of real leadership. And now you got it done. Bada boom, bada bing. Be the best, set and maintain high standards, bad mofo in the mix. All right, the next question is, what if I succeeded at blank? What if I succeeded at blank? And remember, ... so I know that your chat is still enabled, thinking, emoji, a brain, something to know that you are still answering your questions. And your chat is working for you too. I'm hot today. So, what if I succeeded at? There we go. And then it also lets me know if I need to go on YouTube and look at it on my tablet to make sure that I can see it, because mine could be paying off my home. I don't understand why all of a sudden that piece is doing that. All right, I got a ... from Envy, Regina, and Kevin. Sean has already answered the question. And my amazing offspring, are you there? ... What if I succeeded at 6 billion adults learning how to use their brain and becoming personally accountable? That would be awesome. Amazing. Accomplishing all my goals. That would be amazing. Ooh. Creating my personal legend. I don't care if you're still on that, Kevin, be on that. You're supposed to be on that. You're 52. That's what you're supposed to be on at this time in your life. You didn't accomplish all that other stuff. It's time. It is personal. Be on that. I'm still on it. It's a good thing to be on. I'm loving it. I do not know why I sing that. I don't eat McDonald's. I don't know what's on McDonald's menu, but I will sing that song. I used to work at McDonald's way back in the 90s, making $3.35 an hour. Regina said, if I succeeded at the business, I would be proud for myself and feel that my family had changed its history in terms of having success in business. So you would be breaking the generational curse. That's awesome. And then Envy said, learning how to actually mix and master songs. Yes, that would be great. You have been working on that for quite some time. So that would also be good. Okay, now, follow-up question is, how did saying that make you feel? What if I succeeded at? How did you feel doing that one? Mm-mm. Thank you, Regina, for your ellipse. I'm getting there. Laugh out loud. It is challenging. But the thing is, Envy, that the hippocampus is going to reward you with the neurons to do it. That's the only way you get neuroplasticity, is you keep challenging yourself. That's why I have to keep challenging myself, or I'm gonna be stuck with these old ass neurons from 2008 when I became Dr. Donna. Like, you can't do that. They say old wine, new skins, old neurons trying to do some new challenges. And I don't like people saying they're going to challenge that like it's extremely possible, because it is, Kevin. Can makes the impossible possible. That's what that principle of real leadership is for. What I don't like is people who have had success and then they stay in that same industry or genre of anything, and then they want to say they challenge themselves. You ain't challenging yourself. That's the same shit in the new rapping. Regina said, I felt hopeful and empowered because it's not all about me. And when you have a bigger, higher calling, that's sometimes what will propel you to do it. So me telling Kevin to go live made me have to go and do something bigger, because I can't tell him to challenge himself and then I'm over here chilling, doing what's comfortable for me. So I went and did discomfort on fleek. Envy said it feels good to say that, especially when I think back on evidence I have that I can succeed at it from actually doing it. Yes. And what will happen is when you say the failing, you're addressing the amygdala and the insula. Let that go. And then when you say I can succeed at it, your hippocampus is reminding you of when you succeeded. So it's the amygdala and the insula will help use the hippocampus to remind you of when you failed. And then the prefrontal cortex and the ACC will remind you of when you succeeded. And Sean said it felt good to say it because I want to leave my grandchildren something to grow from. And that's what your personal legend is for as well. And that's what Kevin is talking about. So look that up, your personal legend, Sean. It came from the book The Alchemist. And because people believe that leaving money is enough, but you need to leave the neurological resources to be able to be financially literate, and that's more than that. So yes, leave a legacy, and people say that, but what is that legacy? So if you think about the story Roots and how they kept telling the story again and again and again, it's the empowerment. So teaching them how to use their brains and how it functions, and then allowing them to be bad mofos too while you're still here, will ensure that the legacy does live on. Okay. Now the next question is, what if I moved to blank? What if I moved to blank? My pleasure. It's called a personal legend. Sydney, Australia. What if I moved to like can, but what if I moved to Monaco? I just see myself sitting in a small town, small country, drinking coffee, having a debate. Regina said Japan or Ghana. Another country, 6 months, see the white sands. Another country, 6 months out of the year. Yes. And then Sean said the Virgin Islands would love to see the white sands. Kevin, we have neighbors that live in Canada, and they come here in the winter, and then it's too damn hot here for them, so then they go back to Canada in the summer. Yeah, so that would be interesting to be able to do that. Definitely. Now, this is the final question for today because we still need to do the brain bit. Nola, those are diverse answers. Regina, they have two different cultures. And she's doing research on that because they're going on a trip, I think in 2027, her and her friend. Or is it 2026? I think it's 2027. So the final question for today is no, how did you feel? That's what it is. How did that make you feel answering that question? And reminder, thinking brain, a thinking emoji, a brain or a dot, a ellipse, highlighter. Here we go. That felt amazing to think. And that is why I tell people thinking is free. Thinking is free. You just thought about it. And so you had this natural release of dopamine, a reward circuit that you created naturally because you just thought about what if. What if? I know 2027 to Ghana, and I am fascinated by Japanese culture and have many Japanese friends. Closer to a final decision. There you go, Kevin. So just thinking about it. What if? What if? And what you are bombarded with every day is these what if toxic negativity bias scenarios. You have the ability to reframe that and say what if in a different way. That's what you can do. Because what I know to be true is every time I have taken a challenge that I did not want to do, I have benefited immensely. Hence me sitting here talking to y'all with brain t-shirts. Now, has it been easy? Hell no. The first I would say 2 to 4 months on TikTok in the back half of 2023 and 2024 were brutal. But now look, you stick with it, and here we are. Nola said, it feels possible. We've talked about living in another country. I don't doubt it will end up happening in my life. I definitely see myself being a dual citizen. Yes. And I forgot what those passports are called. Damn it. I can't think. It's escaping me. But you can be a dual citizen, and it's a different type of passport. The name is escaping me right now. What is it called? Falcon? That's not it. It'll come to me. Or somebody will chat it and get the answer. So the point is that what you saw was you started out talking about what if I failed at, and then you talked about what if I succeeded at. Then you talked about what I moved to. So you started out in negativity bias, and then you found yourself going to positivity bias, and it felt empowering, and it felt like it was doable. So anytime you say what if, and Lala and Amy pop off reminding you when you failed, all you're going to do is 10 seconds of silence, and you're going to just breathe 1,000, 1,000, and just breathe in and out. And that's going to send a notification to the prefrontal cortex and ACC to say, we're not doing that. We're going to get a different answer from this what if question. It was exciting thinking about being immersed in new cultures and experiences. Yes. And so you didn't even have to leave anywhere. You stayed in your amazing brain, but it felt exciting. So you can tap into that every time. You don't have to sit in this doom and gloom situation that the other adult population, the rest of the world has put us in. That's why Nelson Mandela was able to sit in jail for 27 years and come out and be president of South Africa, because he was not in prison up here. His body might have been in prison, but he was free as a bird up here, free as an eagle. So that's the purpose of this exercise, is you used all those brain regions to just say what if. And you answered the question, so you completed the reward loop. All of you got a dopamine and serotonin boost because you asked the question and answered it of yourself. And so the basal ganglia can now like what if questions. And even if it's bad, you say the bad first, you do a brain dump and write it down, and now you can go back to what if. That's why I'm saying, what if 6 billion adults became personally accountable? That's what makes me get up and do these things and continue to challenge myself. Yes, it's frustrating. Yes, I'm like, it's dual citizenship, Kevin. What is it called? Either Envy or Nola, look it up. Well, it's a different type of passport. I see it, the passport book and everything, but I forgot what it's called. So you can be a dual citizen and your passport is different. Envy, a mixture of longing, happiness, and fear, imagining snow and rain, wanted to move there for a while and know about city life since I've always lived in the outskirts. Yes. So that makes perfect sense. It's killing me. I cannot remember. It's not a hawk. Okay. It's not a visa. It's a specific type of passport that you get to make it dual citizenship. And I cannot think of what it is right now. Anyway, yeah, so you can get dual citizenship in 2 countries. You can actually have it. Certain countries allow it to happen. You tried to look it up. I forgot. Give me a second. So the questions that I have on the table for y'all while I'm doing this is you can what did you learn today? What did you learn about yourself, and what did you learn about your brain? That's not it. I'm missing. I'm missing it. I'm getting it mixed up. I will figure it out. Citizenship by investment. That's not it. I learned that rest is the greatest investment I could give my body. I'll figure it out. Okay. Could you say the questions? Yes. So the questions are: what did you learn today? What did you learn about yourself and the brain conversation that you had yesterday? What did you learn about? What did you learn today? What did you learn about yourself and the brain conversation that you had yesterday? Regina said, "I learned that asking what if questions activates the dentate, dentate gyrus, and which is where neurons are formed in the hippocampus." Yes, that's you're learning neurons. That's how the adult brain actually learns using the neurons that are produced from there. Okay, Kevin said, "Today I learned that I don't want to know how much time I spend on social media." No, that wasn't the that was not the moral of the story, Kevin. You do want to know. You actually do want to know. You could be up with envy. It'd be 2 months in as well. Um, I am gonna mess up your name. I'm not even gonna try to pronounce that. I apologize. I'm gonna say MR because it would be disrespectful to say your name wrong. I learned about myself is I don't like confrontation because mostly people won't like me after, even if it's an important truth. Handle conflict when it occurs is one of the 74 principles of real leadership. So you actually have to handle it when it occurs. Sean said, "I've learned that once you have put yourself into challenge mode to complete them and keep them going, even if you fail, keep going. I have learned about myself is that I need to open new doors." Yes, ma'am. Nola's thinking for networking my business with new tools. Kevin, myself, I have to water my brain more on a daily basis. Just think about when you're working out, Kevin, and how much water and electrolytes and everything you're replenishing. Your brain has to do because it's 75% water. So it definitely needs hydration. Envy said, I learned just how fast the amygdala jumps in to give its 2 cents. Oh, it's giving more than 2 cents, but I get it. It's giving like billions with compound interest. I learned I need to spend more time watering my garden. Yes, and Regina said, I learned I was happy to learn this because I was curious about your statement. Ask the hippocampus for more neurons. Nola said, I learned about myself. I am open to living in another country. I learned asking what if questions opens up possibilities. And Envy said, I had a short conversation with my mom about the amygdala because mine needs to be put back in its place. Yes. So, everybody, just what was your brain conversations yesterday? And it's called emotional regulation, Envy. And if you aren't using chat now, I start using it because it actually helps you customize everything. Chat GPT, customize your questions, and it has advice on it and everything. So it really helps you filter out things. And chat might even have an answer on how to use that 505, 808, whatever a piece of equipment is. If you ask it, I'm sure it will tell you how to use it. Because the good thing about chat is you could take photos and it will literally tell you we were at an appointment and somebody didn't have the what is it called, Nola, on that fireplace, the L bracket. That's not what it's called, a cleat. And so I took the picture of the back of the thing and the model and everything, and chat told me, yeah, you're gonna have to get that cleat from the manufacturer. So if you take a picture of it and put it in chat and say, how do I use this, it will give you a strategy on how to make it play. Regina said, I talked to my friend about people having 86 billion neurons, and there was silence, no response from her. Since I was driving, I didn't dig deeper with my conversation with her. Notice that my conversation was talking what causes an autistic outburst for me and the system to calm it. Yes, that is correct. Yes, so if you take a picture of it and go to Chat GPT, and you can do 5 chats a day for free, and go to the advice section on it. So click on it. Don't do, because it's going to say create an image and all that. Click the 3 dots, and then it's going to pop up and say advice. And then you literally you could type in a long, I don't know how to do nothing. And then chat is going to say, this is how you start using it. This is what you do. And then it'll ask you follow-up questions for that. So Kevin and Sean, what was your brain conversation yesterday? Now that is just perplexing me with that passport. Falcon. Damn it, I can't think of it. It's gonna come to me. I'm gonna take my shower. It's gonna show up. So Kevin, by tomorrow morning, we need to know what time your live is gonna be. Plenty of pressure. Plenty of pressure. Brain conversation. I was telling my wife yesterday how exercise stimulates neurogenesis in the hippocampus. Yes, it's called the default mode. No, brain-derived neurotropic factor. I don't know who the hell came up with that name, but yes. And you get endorphins too. That's why after you exercise, you feel good, because endorphins is a neurotransmitter as well. So that's why people become addicted to exercising too. Aristotle said all things in moderation and nothing in excess. So the moral of the story is this, ladies and gentlemen: you have the ability to do whatever your brain can fathom, can think about and imagine. You have the capability. You just go to the dentate gyrus in the hippocampus and say, hey, I'm gonna need some neurons to get this done. A lot of neurons. Let me have them. And you challenge yourself. Now, it's not gonna give you new neurons to do dumb shit, like I said, but when you challenge yourself, it's like, all right, bet. And every time you challenge yourself, you increase what? The dentate gyrus. Or are you talking about and so it will give you more neurons. So I did a live this morning because I couldn't sleep, woke up, went back, read, finished some reading, went back to sleep, woke back up again. So I went on live TikTok because I'm figuring out what it is that I'm going to be doing over there. And I had the pleasure of a MAGA 2028 on my live. And the person was attempting to get a rise out of me. So they said, you don't sound black. That's what they said. 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. Okay, great. Kevin is thinking 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. Adjust your time zone accordingly, and he will be live. So he retracted it. Okay, so the person, I said, oh, I said, I sound black. I said, what do colors sound like? So then I asked the person, well, what does blue sound like? And then I said, well, I like orange. That's my favorite color. So what does orange sound like? So basically, the person was saying that they were trying to rage bait me and they were being very successful. Only Envy knew that somebody was being baited, but it was not me. So the person lied. They said they were getting a PhD in psychology and they were doing rage baiting, some random topic that wasn't true. And so I educated that person very quickly and said, there's no way that you are actually doing this as a research project because your university wouldn't approve of this. I walked them through the dissertation process and how that works, and that he was not, in fact, hijacking my amygdala or doing anything. I was letting him stay on the live, and none of what he was doing was working. And then finally, his actual education level showed up towards the end. And he then went and told me, basically tried to call me elitist and all these things. And so what I was demonstrating to that new group of people was that when you have a strong prefrontal cortex, it takes a lot to throw you off your square. Now, what he didn't know is that I'm over 30 days with emotional regulation, no screen time, because I said the trolls, the unaccountables are coming, and I need to be cool as the other side of the pillow, simultaneously hijacking the shit out of their amygdalas without batting an eye. And that's what I did today. So I'm telling you that the more you strengthen your prefrontal cortex, and that's what you're doing, the weaker or more regulated your amygdala becomes. And now people can't come to you and say, you don't sound like a color, because colors don't have sound that I'm aware of. So it allows you for this negativity bias, this cognitive bias, this confirmation bias to be wrong. This person took a look at me and assumed that they knew who I was. They found out who I am, but they thought they knew who I was based upon some predisposed things that they see. And I love that, because the other day, Nola and I were dressed and we got treated one way. I said, now tomorrow when we have on these assemble clothes, people are going to think a different narrative, and neither one of them will be accurate at all, because that's what that group of people does. Is I'm going to look at you and I know everything about you, and you're going to be 1,000% wrong. So my point is saying that is that you didn't like how the first question made you feel. You liked how the other two questions did, but you get to create that narrative for yourself. So you don't have to be the person that fears not being able to do something. You can actually be the person that says, I'm getting ready to move to another country, and here's why. And so, yes, that's what's actually taking place. Now, Kevin said 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Sean said, I had a moment of brain conversation and buying a new doorknob for my front door. And how was I going to master on putting it on myself, basically. Got it. And then Lola said, Mr. Kevin, 8:30 a.m. is 5:30 a.m. is where Dr. Donna, it would be the same time as live. No, he said p.m., Lola. He came back and changed it. So it's 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So it's 8:30. He's a night person anyway, so definitely. And plus, he will be he's got to do his gym and stuff in the morning. So the summary is this, ladies and gentlemen. You too will be able to start handling unaccountable people at a higher level when you strengthen your prefrontal cortex. How do you do that? You literally go to the dentate gyrus in the hippocampus and you withdraw new neurons. And the more you challenge yourself, the stronger your hippocampus becomes, and people with strong amygdalas can't hold a candle to you. They will not be able to throw you off your square. So your objective is to have more neural pathways than them and remain calm as they stand there jumping up and down like a toddler in the toy section of Target. So it is possible for you. So when you find yourself in a slump, stuck in a rut, start asking yourself positive questions. And Regina said, Kevin, how do I access you? Kevin is Hookism is on TikTok. So he's Kevin Hook, and his username is Hookism on TikTok. So if y'all go follow him now on this, and then we'll remind you tomorrow, then you'll be able to see him tomorrow at 5:30 p.m. So now we'll all be standing there with Polaroid cameras, like back in the day, and big old giant. Remember the giant camcorders back in the day, standing there recording you? Who is that? That one? Mm-hmm. That one right there. You see him with the glasses and the gray beard? That's who we here to see. Yup. Mm-hmm. I'm a proud teacher. Pressure Pressure breaks pipes and it makes diamonds too. That's how you get the diamonds. You know that. You got to, if you're trying to grow crops, you got to put pressure to get that ground nice and soft, right? Ain't that how that works? In order to reap a harvest, it is planting season. Yes, he was. And Envy was there to see it all. He had no idea what was taking place, but he soon learned. And I said, look at you. Then changed your whole everything. You changed your whole everything. Went from talking about you was rage baiting. I'm like, that is not how research works. But when your mother, sister, father, brother are your parents, then that's what happens to you. But it is to be expected because people still have hijacked amygdalas. But I told him what was happening before I blocked him so he would understand that he was having a neurological breakdown and he was unmatched, that he was inept to come for me with something as asinine and elementary as you don't sound black. Like, wow, that's grammatically incorrect. You don't sound black. You can't, colors don't have sounds. So it was interesting. He was not prepared. Ill prepared, and I'm running on less hours of sleep. All right, very effective live this morning. So again, when you find yourself being stuck in a rut or feeling like your amygdala is going to be hijacked, just start asking yourself your own what if questions and play that movie out in your default mode network. So literally washing the dishes. I did. I said make diamonds. That is correct, Sean. It was funny. He was using every adjective he could think of, and he was spelling miserably. Yes, he was. And oh, that's a flex, Envy. That's a flame, which ended, that Sagittarius is coming out, which ended up being roughly 4. And for those of you who don't know, Envy and Nola are 1 day apart, birthday-wise. I think that's quite interesting. Okay, so everybody go off and have a brain-tastic day. God willing, higher power in the universe. I will be back tomorrow, same time, same place, safe space, different brain t-shirt. Have a brain-tastic day. Take care.